today sucked, and we're here to tell you all about it. I'm Triss Leder.
And I'm Forrest Leder, and we're talking life, health, and sanity, and finding sunshine in the rain. So, Triss,
Yes, Forrest.
it seemed like today kind of sucked for you.
It did. And sometimes when the day is harder, there's like a specific thing or a series of things that you get to the end of the day and go, wow, that really made things difficult today. But there wasn't that for me today. Although I suppose that's not entirely true. There was one very specific thing. And, ow, was that your neck?
Yeah.
Jeez. He's not broken, I swear. I was tired today. Like, exceedingly tired today. And that kind of makes things suck.
Everything seems harder when you're tired.
Yeah. It really does. All the way around.
And it's even worse for you, usually.
Yeah, well, I have a weird thing that, so for anybody who cares too all much, I have kind of a funky cousin condition of narcolepsy that makes me tired a lot. And regardless of how much I sleep, I still am tired a lot. And so it makes things pretty difficult a lot of the time. And I mean, don't get me wrong here. It's something I deal with and it can be hard, but that doesn't mean by any stretch of the imagination that things are always sucky and things are always bad. And I mean, let's face it, Forrest, I have a pretty great life. I've got an awesome family. We don't want for too all many things. Like we've got it pretty well made.
We're pretty blessed.
We are pretty dang blessed. So don't hear me just like constant stream of complaining. I'm not, but it certainly brings up a topic that I know I deal with a lot, and I have to because it's so sort of acute for me.
You are cute. For me, too.
Thanks, honey. That's not what I meant, though.
I know.
But I think it's something that everybody, regardless of their health and whatever else, I think everybody has to sort of deal with. And so I think that's what I wanted to talk about today is the concept of limitations and your own limitations on what you are able to do. And I think it ties in a little bit to what we were talking about yesterday with, setting realistic expectations and standards for yourself. And, doing that, you have to take what you're able to do reasonably into account. And, I am always battling with myself over the fact that physically, I am just simply not able to do as much as some other people, sure, but as I think I should be able to. And accepting that, that the limitations that I have as not some sort of character flaw, but rather just the simple truth of my existence in this body that I have. That's, in theory, something I understand, but something I've internalized and accept well? No, not very often. I think Forrest can probably attest to that.
It's a thing in progress.
Respect the thing. Forrest is a little bit more normal, I'd say. But just like everybody has his stuff, Forrest, what are your limitations?
Well, I mean, I have a really hard time staying focused on one thing. Mm-hmm. I have attention deficit disorder. Mm-hmm. And so I think for me, I have a really hard time sticking to plans and making things happen because something comes up and takes my attention away. Mm-hmm. I may have the best intentions to do a thing, but we call them pop-ups. It's like on computers where you have the ads that pop up in front of what you were doing and they get in the way. And it's like that for me with everything. There's always something popping up to steal my attention from where I intend for it to be. And so even if I make great plans, those plans can get blown up just by my inability to stay focused on them and ignore distractions. Mm-hmm. And so we have to use a lot of different kind of coping mechanisms to be able to keep things going and make sure that things are getting done in a way that makes sense, or not even that it makes sense, just that things even get done at all. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because something will steal my focus, and it's not like, oh, well, this one thing, it took my attention, and then something else is going to take my attention, and then something else is going to take my attention. A lot of the times, it's like I go from I'm doing my best to do this thing, but then something takes my attention and I'm hyper fixated on that thing then too. Like I have a hard time getting away from it.
Sure.
Because it's so completely taken it. And I recognize that, I know that it's not, I'm not a bad person because I have a hard time staying focused on those things, but it does mean that I have that I have to overcome,
right, to
be able to follow through on things.
Right.
It makes things really hard professionally because I have a really hard time completing tasks that I start.
Right.
And that's how I really even came to that conclusion and went and got help, was because I was feeling so stressed by my inability to complete the things I set out to complete for my work.
So for the people out there that don't have, like we both do, a diagnosed neurological condition, I suppose it would be easy to go, well, I'm not like that. And so, I don't have to deal with that stuff. But we're all different. We all have our things. We all have our things that make things challenging for us. Things that we don't intend. You don't intend to not do what you said you were going to do. Things that are very important to you still get lost behind pop-ups, even though they're very, very important to you. And it's not, it's not your intention. And so I guess I started off by saying, let's talk about limitations here, but now we're kind of going in a different direction. So I'm going to roll with it. Something that then I always have kind of this wondering in my head of, well, if the fact that I'm tired all the time, or the fact that you have pop-ups or whatever is not a moral failing on our part, not that we don't need to just be better people. We need to be less lazy, or we need to be this or that because we just need to be a better person. But it's rather just, it's part of the uniqueness of who we are and how our bodies work. Then what's the point in trying to fight against that? What's keeping me from just going, well, I'm tired all the time, so I'm just going to sleep. And it's not really my fault. And so, I'm not going to struggle against that because it's a losing battle. You're not going to struggle against your pop-ups because it feels like a losing battle. Why don't we do that?
Why don't we give up?
I don't know if give up is the right word, but more just, I don't know. It's late and I'm tired, so I can't brain. No, I think it's more just, why continue the struggle of what we think should be when there's so much working against, when it feels like anyway, that there's so much working against being able to focus, being able to accomplish the things that take a lot of energy for me or, whatever else. Because it's really easy to go, I feel like it would be really easy to go, well, this is just how I am. Why bother trying to change?
Because it's worth it. Because, for one thing, how can you know that you wouldn't be able to do, big things if you don't try?
Mm-hmm.
How do you know that you are going to fail unless you give everything you've got to it?
Yeah.
And it's like the Gretzky quote of, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the same in not just sports, but all kinds of aspects in life. Like if you just give in to those things, if you just let yourself be defined by, I think that's it, is you're not defined by your limitations. Like we all have limitations. We have finite limits to what we can do in whatever different area.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't know what the actual limit is unless we push against it.
Right. Right.
Like unless you really strive and give everything you got to try and overcome it, then you don't actually know what the limit is. You just know what the limit of your effort is.
Yeah, that's good. Hey, this show is supposed to be about we don't have any answers, Forrest.
I don't have any answers. I don't know where the limit is. I just know that it's not where I am. And the big question, I think, here for me right now is what's limiting my motivation?
Mm-hmm.
Why do I feel so... I don't think apathetic is the right word. Because I do care. Like, I want things to be different.
No, I don't think it's that. I think that it's for both of us, we've hit a point of feeling like nothing's working. The different things that we've tried, whether it's, like health is kind of, it's the topic we started out with here a week ago, and it's taken a little bit of a backseat, but that's okay. We'll get back to that. But I think everybody hits peaks and valleys in their journey in whatever it is in life in general, but in the different parts of it. And I think we would just kind of hit a valley of feeling like we just fail a lot and things don't work a lot. And it's really hard to want to push and give a lot of of effort when it feels like, well, why? Because it just has not been working. And we've started and stopped 100 times on different things. So what's going to be different this time? And really the truth is, you don't know what's going to be different this time. Maybe nothing. Maybe it's next time that it's better. But if you don't get up this time, you won't have next time.
That's so good. It's like the Alfred in Batman.
Yeah.
Saying, why do we fall down? So we can get back up.
Yeah. A lot of Batman references going on. What's that all about?
I don't even do that much DC stuff.
No, you're kind of a Marvel guy.
Yeah.
But apparently there's wisdom in Batman. I don't know. Well, what did we learn? We just yapped a whole bunch. And what did we learn today, Forrest? What do you think?
I think we're coming to that understanding that who we are is okay.
We're not defined by our limitations.
We're not defined by our limitations. And it's worth it to keep trying. Mm-hmm. And, I think that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose.
Now we just got to figure out how to internalize it.
Right. Yeah, that little pesky piece.
Yeah.
Of taking it from what we call our brain to our head brain to our heart brain.
Yeah.
Getting your heart brain to really believe what your head brain knows is no easy task. So maybe some of you out there have a better method than we do for accomplishing that. Let us know, because there's a lot of people with a lot more wisdom out there than we have. So please tell us all about how ridiculous we are, because we'd love to hear it.
And tell us also, what are some of the things that you're struggling about, and what have you found that's made it worth it to keep going?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So we're excited to keep going on this journey. I feel like I'm growing through our conversations, and I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's good, and I'm thrilled that we have all y'all to listen to us too. And if you and there's our cat. That must mean it's time to be done. So give us a shout out. Find me on Twitter at Triss_Joy.
And you can find me at Fearless Leder. And I guess that means we'll see you next time, suckers.